And then what I'm going to do is put it onto a board. Where are we? What did I do with that board? There it is. Now this is quite big. It's actually too big for a cupcake. So this little board here is a 5-inch cake. So if you were going to do this on a cake, you would need to do it on a 5-inch. It's not going to work on cupcakes. The only way it would work on cupcakes is if you did like half an image. So if you had, for example, say a round one there and you just use perhaps a quarter of the poppy, I mean that would look okay, but it's obviously that's the equivalent of a cupcake size and it's way too big for that. So it's suitable for a cake but not necessarily for cupcakes. Icing sugar, what did I do? There it is. So I'm going to just do this on fresh sugar paste now. So I'm just going to roll this out. It doesn't matter what sugar paste you use, anything is fine. I'm just going to roll this out. And then we're going to stick this to the little board. And this will be very quick. You'll be surprised actually how long it takes to do this. It's very quick. There we go. Right, now I need to find a paintbrush. There we go. And some water. Oh, there we go, even more organised. More organised than I know. And then we're going to just take hold of some water and just put that onto the cake card like so. Take hold of this and pop that over the top. Make sure it's flat. And then we're going to take hold of one of these plastic side scrapers. I've picked up the world's biggest one, but that's okay. Oh no, there's a little one. Let's use that. So we'll pick that up and then we will just cut the paste off here using the plastic side scraper. There we go. So the sugar paste is fresh, which is what you need to do in order to be able to emboss with these patchwork cutters. Let's put that over there. I have to excuse the colour of my hands, courtesy of the gel, because I have black hands currently. Let's just give those a bit of a wash. My hands have definitely gone a funny colour, but that's okay. Right, so patchwork cutter. Let's bring my chair in. Let's get this started. Okay, so we're going to take hold of this, pop it into the middle like so, and then we're just going to press that down until it's imprinted in the sugar paste. Let's see what we've got. You don't want to press it down so far. There we go, that's fine. We don't want to press it down so far that it creates great big holes, because it's so much more difficult to paint when you've got great big holes there. Right, I'm reading this, Donna. I have a question for you. If you wanted to remove the sugar paste from your cake card to put on a cake, for example, would you put icing sugar on the card? Yes. I'd probably just put the card on, to be perfectly honest, Donna, because then whoever receives it can just take the card off and keep it, because lots of people go, oh, that's too nice to cut. Well, they can keep it then, can't they? So I'd probably just leave it on the card, but yeah, by all means, you can definitely do that. Right, so for painting purposes, I use one of these, which is a chrome food warmer. I do not sell them. They are on Amazon. If you just literally put in chrome food warmer and you'll see them come up. Now I'm just going to get my clicker thing and light it. So in the middle there is a tea light, so that's going to make my metal paint palette, which is here, that's going to make that hot, which means that when I do my cocoa butter, it's going to melt and then I'll be able to do my painting. So let me grab my cocoa butter. So this is what cocoa butter looks like. We have a really nice cocoa butter beginners painting kit. So if you are thinking about doing any cake painting, we have a kit. It's $39.50 and it includes everything you're ever going to need to do cake painting. So it includes your dusting colours, 11 of them. It includes 4 paintbrushes, which I use, that are all numbered, which means I can help you to identify which brush it is that you need to use. So if you have a look at my paintbrushes, you'll see they've got numbers on them. So 001. What's that, number 2? See, that's also a number 2, and that shows how much we use brush 2 because it's well worn. That one we use more than anything else. Paintbrush number 3 as well. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 2 and 3. 0, 0 is not included in the kit, but you can buy that separately. Now, colour-wise today, we're going to use red, obviously, so we'll put red in there. So red dusting colours. So in the kit, there are 11 dusts that you can use. This one here, again, I use Sugar Flare colours. We're going to use red, we're going to use black. We include these in the kit. Just a little bit on there. You don't use very much. Once you're set up with cake painting, you really won't use a lot of stuff. It's just, you'll just buy the odd dust here and there and maybe some lessons, and that will be about it, to be honest. You won't really need much else. And then we need some white as well. So white is the colour that we go through more than anything else. You're going to find the white is the one that goes down the most. So let's put that in there like that. So we've got white, woodland green, red and black. So all of these colours are in the beginner's cocoa butter painting kit, or you can buy them separately. It's entirely up to you, but I try and use the colours as much as I possibly can so that you've got kind of the best value out of that kit as possible. Right, I'm going to move that across there a little bit. I'm going to bring this camera down, so you are going to go on a little ride for a minute. There we go, because I want you to be able to see everything as best as we possibly can. There we go. Okay, bring that in so you can see how we mix as well. So all I'm going to do, because I've been painting, is check what's in my brushes first. So I normally just dip them into the cocoa butter, wipe them on a piece of kitchen roll and just check there's no colour in there. But it also cleans my brush and I'm ready to go. So what we need to do first is dip that into cocoa butter and pick up some red. And then I'm going to grab some white from over here and make this colour brighter. So I'm going to take it away from it being neat red in colour, like so. And then I'm going to start painting the poppy. So it's all laid out for me. I'm literally just going to put the paint down. This is paintbrush number 2 that I'm using. It won't take very long. You'd be surprised how quickly you can do this one. I think it took me less than 15 minutes yesterday to do it. So it really isn't a particularly long project to do. I'm going to leave that centre bit there, which is marked out for you. And it's a really nice poppy, this one. So it's Patchwork Cutters, don't forget. And it is on Let Shop. I think it's quite a cheap one. I think it's about £3, £3.30 maybe, this one. So it's not a hugely expensive cutter. And obviously you can cut them out as well. I mean, I just tend to emboss everything, as we know, for painting purposes, but you can cut things out as well with patchwork cutters. So if that's what you prefer to do, that's absolutely fine. You can do that as well. And you would just use like a modelling paste for that, something like Saraceno, which again is on Let Shop. And you just need to make sure you roll it out nice and thin so that you can actually get it out of the cutter. That's the key to these. And then we go like that. Okay, and then this is also a petal across here. It's just where the poppy is kind of tipping forward. So we need to paint that one as well. Just go under that centre bit there. So we do lots of patchwork cutters on our website. We do lily, we do entwined roses, and I have done all of them near enough on YouTube. So if you're thinking, gosh, you know, I'd like to have a go, but I don't really know what else to have a look at, go over to YouTube again, go through it. You'll see all the pictures of all the things I've painted, including lily. There's the lily, there's the entwined rose, there's blossom and leaf. Obviously now this one, poppy. There's so many of them. Just go and have a look, because it's a really nice thing to do, this painting. It's nice and straightforward. Nothing too complicated. I'm going to let that dry now, so I'm just going to clean my brush and I'm going to switch over to Woodland Green, which I'm going to pick up with my paintbrush 2 still, and I'm going to add some white to it. So I'm going to lighten it up. Make sure I put plenty in. So the more cocoa butter you add, the thinner the paint. The more dust you add, the thicker the paint. So you just kind of adjust it to where you want it to be. So I'm just going to paint over the leaves, which again you can see quite clearly. They're not difficult to see. You can change brush if you want to, but these are quite big, these leaves, so I'm sticking with brush 2 at the moment. You're probably thinking, why isn't she using brush 3? Because that's a bigger brush, but we're going to use that for something else later on. So we will use it, but we will use it in a different way. So, and again, you can see all the veins and everything that are on the patchwork cutter, so it's nice and easy to do. So we'll just do that. so it's fairly quick to the bottom there. And if you make a mistake, you can always add a bit of leaf, can't you? It doesn't really matter. It's not the end of the world. Like so. So that's one leaf there, and then it kind of bends down. So it goes down there. And then we've got the stalk bit there, which we'll just take round behind there. Still using brush 2 at the moment. Probably because it's quite a big project to paint. Some of the ones, like on my new cake painting classes, particularly the cottage, I only use paintbrush 1 and 0 because it was very tiny. So it gives you lots of details to do there. Is it watch me paint? I like turning into Bob Ross here of cake, I think. Sit and chat about cake painting. We'll go all the way up to the top there. So you should be able to see it appearing before your very eyes now. Sometimes when I go on camera and I can see it all, and I know you can't, but the minute I start painting, you can see it all appearing, which is quite nice, isn't it? So Remembrance Day is coming up. So if you have got any little cakes that you're doing for anybody, then this is a really nice one to do. Actually, poppies as well. My family is quite competitive with poppy growing. There's always somebody trying to grow a blue poppy in our family and to try and keep it alive. So if you wanted to do some sort of different type poppies, you can do that. And we'll just again clean our brush in between. And then we'll turn that round and just dip that in the cocoa butter, pick up some black. Now I'm just going to put a tiny bit of white in it so it just becomes more of a dark grey. And then we're just going to paint that centre bit there. So when you put the paint down, it's going to look black, but it's not. It's actually a dark grey colour, but it will change when we finish it off at the end. So just pop that little bit in there like that and then just leave it. Leave it to dry. So by now the red is dry, so we can go back and do our shading on the red. So let's turn that back round again. And this time we're going to just use neat red. So we're not going to add any white to it at all. Okay. So just red on its own. And then we're going to use paintbrush number 3 now. So we're going to bring that one in. And then all I'm going to do is just literally just tap some colour in down here at the bottom of this petal. And then just pull that through like so with this soft brush. So it's going to make it more 3D. And again, I'm going to go round the middle here like so. Now you have to act quickly with this. If you leave it and if you sit there and look at it, it's going to dry. So you do need to pull that colour through quite quickly, and hopefully on screen you should be able to see this changing. So we're going to come round here. So I'm not going all the way around the edge, we're only going around certain bits. And again, you can do this directly onto a cake, absolutely, if you want to do that. What I find with the plaques is it sometimes helps people build confidence, because doing it directly onto a cake and then messing it up can sort of be quite upsetting. So it's quite nice to actually do it on a plaque and then put it on a cake, or you can just do it directly on a cake. Now this is the other side of this petal, so this is this side, so we're going to need to come across the bottom of this bit here. So we're going to just tap our colour in all the way along here like so, and then we're going to take our brush and we're going to move this colour up like so. Okay, so everything's got to go in a slightly different position. You just have to look quite carefully where everything's got to go. All right, now we're going to leave that to dry. We'll come back to it again. So we're going to put 3 lots on it, and we're going to just clean our brush, and we're going to go back to the woodland green colour. And this time we're going to use neat woodland green. So woodland green with no other colour mixed into it. There we go, so just woodland green on its own. Have I painted the moth orchid? I have, and I don't like it. That sounds really bad, but I don't like it. So we're going to come down one side of this leaf, like so. I'm just going to get some of that red out of there just to make sure. And using brush 3 again, I'm just going to pull that colour across. So we're just going to kind of clip the edge of this one. Take your brush and then just pull it down like that. Can you see what it's doing? It's really making those edges stand out. Really nice, really pretty. And again, we'll just do it on this side as well. Maybe not so much as we did on the other side, just so we've got a little bit of contrast going on here. Nearly picked up the wrong colour then. So I'm still using brush 2 at the moment for this project, so fairly straightforward. Bring that down like so. And then you can use a bit of the green to come down the side of the stem. That gives it then a little bit of a shadow. Again, just take your brush. You're going to have to be careful here because it's a little bit narrower, but you can just very carefully just smudge it like so. And then we'll come down here. Oh, we need a bit more dust. So do a little bit and then pull the paint before it dries. If you take too much paint off, you can always go back and put more on. But if that paint dries, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to alter. So just make sure that you do it as you go. Okay, and then we'll just do this side. Am I inspiring any of you to pick up paintbrushes? Would you like to have a go? I think you probably would. That or royal icing. Royal icing seems to be the popular choice today. So again, just pull that down like that. The poppy is lovely. It's a really nice flower. So just bring that in like that. Put a bit more up there. But you can see on screen it's really lifting, isn't it? It's really starting to pick up. We've still got the veins and everything, but we'll come back to those. Yes, that's what I'm doing with my dry brush, is just moving the colour around. So my dry brush is just pulling the colour or shading the colour where I want it to be. Right, I'm just going to clean my brush up. And then we're going to go back to the poppy. Now this time we've got red, and I'm going to add a little bit of black. So I'm going to make it more burgundy than anything else, so a little bit extra black. And I'm going to just use this on some of the edges around here. So I'm just going to take my brush, actually I might change brushes in a second, and just add a little bit there. I'm going to change to brush 1 because this brush 2 is a little bit big for this job. Where are we? Brush 1, right. The more brushes that you have, I find people make mistakes because they've got the wrong brushes. It's as simple as that. If you've got the right brushes, you're going to find this a lot easier. So we're just putting a really dark kind of line in here, but without it sort of becoming a line, because we're just kind of moving it around again. So just shade that out there. And then also along this bottom line here, if we just run this down here, bring that up, and then here, let's have a look at it on camera. Yeah. And then here you've actually got where the patchwork cutter is kind of tipped forward, so you do need to get a dark colour in there because that's where you've got a shadow. So we'll go along here, bring that up like so. We'll do one more little bit there. Just make sure it's separated between those two there. Just don't outline it in black, it's too harsh. Okay, you do need to be using a combination of red and black to do this, otherwise it's just too much. Okay, let's clean our brush again. So we're on brush 1 now, we've gone down a size, and then we're going to go into the woodland green, and we're going to again just add a tiny bit of black to that. Just be careful with this, don't do too much. And then what I'm going to do is take the brush on its tip here, and I'm just going to use the brush to fill in the centre lines that are on these leaves. So if I just bring that down like so, they're there for you. I'm not making these up, they are actually there, which is why patchwork cutter is so lovely to paint with. And then if you want to make sure they don't become too harsh, if you just take your dry brush and just soften them, and then you won't get really sort of strong lines there. That works well as well. So again, we'll just take that over there. Follow it round. And again, in there. So if you have any questions about patchwork cutters or cake painting kits or cake painting lessons, then I'm live, so please do ask. I'm more than happy to help you. Or if you have a question afterwards because you don't want to ask on a live, then just message me after that as well. Again, we'll just pat that down. Right, and then what we're going to do, we're going to go into the black with brush 1, and we're going to just stipple in the centre of this poppy. Like so. And then I'm just going to take my brush on its point, and I'm just going to extend this outside the poppy onto some little leaves here by just putting in a few extra dots. Now make sure I don't go down, because that's the petal that's going over the top, so it needs to be on these top ones here. I will pick this up so you can see it, because you might not be able to see it. Let's just make that a little bit darker. Yeah, okay, I'll pick that up so you can see it. Hold on. There we go. I mean, it's pretty good 3D from there, but if I hold it up closer, you'll be able to see the centre bits there. Can you see the little dots that are on there? Yes, you can. So there you go. That's it. It's done. It's as simple as that. It's really, really easy and straightforward to do, and has literally taken me about 15-20 minutes, and that's it. If you want to place the card onto the cake, someone's just asked me that. I personally, if you've got a sugar pasted cake, I like them on plaques. I'll tell you why, is because it lifts them up off the cake. It makes it a bit more of a feature. So if I've got my cake now, I would then put my plaque on. I'd put a bit of royal icing underneath here, and then I would pipe all the way around the edge of this, just a little sort of shell pipe or something, and that would then hold it in place, and it would look lovely. I think that's a great idea, because then whoever has the cake then can go, oh, that's lovely, I don't want to cut that, and they can just literally put a palette knife in and slide it off, and they can keep it. So that's something else to think about as well. It's something you can actually hold on tight to, so that's another way of doing it. Isn't that pretty? It's really, really lovely. And when I look at it in front of me, and then I look up at my screen, I can really see just how 3D it's come out on screen, more so than when I look at it up close myself. I know what the rules are, I know what I should be doing, but actually when you look at it on screen, you can see the difference massively. So that's the Poppy cutter, and that one is available on Let's Shop now. So it's the